Shalom, Israel. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. I was just meditating, and I wanted to do a video on the topic of obedience that is to be preferred over sacrifice. And according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, he requires obedience. Okay, being in this truth requires you to be faithful, and that is a commandment that you must obey. Okay, and so I want to get this this backdrop here in 1 Samuel chapter 15 with Saul being king over Israel, and he had a commandment that he disobeyed, and we're going to see what the consequence was for that. Okay, this is 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of Yahweh. So Samuel is telling Saul specifically to listen to the words that the Most High is about to tell you. Okay? And it's for a reason. That requires you to be obedient. Verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he had laid wait for him in the way, when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telaim 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and the rest of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly. So the Lord is definitely not pleased with this, because you have to remember here in verse 2 of Salakia, in verse 3, it says, Go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not. And then if you go down here to verse 9, it says, But Saul and the people spared Agag, and not only Agag the king, but also the good cattle that was in that area as well. Okay, so we're going to see the Lord's reaction to this. Then came the word of Yahweh unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from from following me, and hath not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto Yahweh all night. And when Samuel arose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of Yahweh, I have performed the commandment of Yahweh. So here in his mind, he still doesn't really understand his transgression. He thinks everything is in good standings with him and the Lord. And lots of times in this truth, when you kind of call yourself doing your own thing, you may think that you're doing the right thing, but the Lord could be displeased with you, and you don't even know it. Which shows that why it's so important to be obedient. Okay, because your thoughts are not the Lord's thoughts. Okay, we are to be obedient under any circumstance. Okay, we're going to get some precepts to prove that, but let's continue here. It says in verse 14, and Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, they have brought and Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. So here he's seeing, well, Samuel is asking, oh, really? You perform the commandment of the Lord, huh? Okay, so why do I hear sheep, bleating in the pastures? Why do I hear oxen, lowing and grazing when you are, call yourself smiting all of the things that are in the land of the Amalekites? Okay, and Saul is saying, well, we were going to offer them, to offer them sacrifice, and that's not what the Lord, commanded. Verse 16. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what Yahweh hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, stay on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And Yahweh anointed thee king over Israel? Okay, so fast forward into nighttime. That night, the Most High is reminding Saul what his previous estate was, which was humble. He didn't see himself as somebody who was fit to rule, and that mentality changed over the few short, maybe I think it was like 2 years at this point, and this was during his second year of reign when he made this transgression. So Jake is really, really quick to forget, and this is why we have to stay spiritual and stay praying, because Jake is really quick to forget the estate that the Most High brought you into this truth in. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna bring someone into this truth, who was just openly, blatantly proud-hearted. It is a seed that Satan sows in your heart, after a certain amount of time, that eventually grows and prevents you from really abounding in this truth. But most of the time, when Jake hears the truth, he accepts it with a humble spirit, because if you buck up against it, you're not going to receive it at all. Okay, so in verse 18 it says, and Yahweh sent thee on a journey and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst thou fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of Yahweh? And Saul said unto Samuel, yea, I have obeyed the voice of Yahweh, and have gone the way which Yahweh sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which would have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power of Gilgal. And Samuel said, hath Yahweh as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of Yahweh, he hath also rejected thee from being king. So being the fact that Saul, wanted to be stubborn against the commandment of the Lord, the Most High took the kingdom, away from him, okay, and gave it to someone who was better than him, which was King David. But the point, was in verse 22. It says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. Okay, and to hearken than the fat of rams. The Most High is pleased more so with the obedience, okay, that comes with that comes with those who are faithful to Him. Okay, and so we're gonna get another example. Matter of fact, I know where it is. Blue letter's tripping. Here we go. In Leviticus chapter 10. If it ever wants to respond to Aaron's sons when they offered sacrifice, strange sacrifice. Leviticus chapter 10. Okay, this is Leviticus chapter 10, verse 1. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before Yahweh, which he commanded them not. Okay, so this is another example of Jake offering an offering that the Most High is not pleased with, and that he did not ordain. Okay, he did not command this sacrifice, and this is the consequence for that. Again, verse 2. And there went out fire from Yahweh, and devoured them, and they died before Yahweh. So, literally, they were consumed at an instant. As soon as because the Most High, he knew that they were rebellious children, and they needed to be made an example for the nation of Israel, that the Lord is not playing around. You know what I'm saying? He never was. He's long suffering. Which can be taken for a weakness. In the eyes of a carnal man. But indeed, the Lord is not playing around. Okay, and so that's one example there. And then if you go to an example of obedience, I want to say it's in like the 22nd chapter. Okay, this is an example of a proper sacrifice. Okay, of obedience. It says in Genesis chapter 22 verse 1, and it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. So this first verse is telling you here that the Most High tempts, his servants. Okay, he tries them. All right, let's get that word in Hebrew while we're at it. And he did the same thing to Job. He's doing the same thing to his elect. Okay, that word in the Hebrew is nasa, which means to test, to try, prove, tempt. Okay, assay, to put to proof or test, just like gold is tried in the furnace. Okay, and I just want to look and see if that's in there. No, it's not in there. Okay, but it's some good precepts in there. But yeah, that's the word here, nasa, which means to test, attempt, to try, to test, to try to prove. Okay, so that's what the Most High is doing to us, and specifically in this account, that's what He was doing to Abraham. Okay, and He's about to put him really to the test. It says, verse 2, and He said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. Okay, and so this is a severe trial. Okay, I mean, let's be honest. None of us have ever been told, to offer up, our children, or anything like that. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to truly imagine it. But one thing that you can parallel it to is yourself, being the fact that you're making yourself, your personal body, a living sacrifice. By not only going out there in the